You know, the world can be pretty stressful. You got bills to pay, you gotta work, you gotta take care of your kids if you have them, you gotta do all kinds of stuff just to maintain. And hey, all that stress might just drive you to the point where you have a public freak out and kick somebody for filming you. Well, maybe that's not really the extent this daily stress brings you all to, but it's definitely the stress that it brought to the purple hoodie wearing Roundhouse Kick Activist. This was a rather bizarre public freakout that was captured on film in Toronto, Canada in late September, and a whole controversy emerged in October that I want to tell you guys about. This video is going to be about whatever happened to the Roundhouse Kicking Activist, aka Cuck Norris, the man known as Jordan Hunt. So let's go ahead and get right into this story. So this whole situation starts on September 30th in good old Canada. On September 30th of 2018, a pro-life activism group known as LifeChain had been planning on hosting this protest in Toronto to support pro-life attitudes. And this LifeChain group had been around since the late 1980s, so they're pretty infamous for their protests. And these protests have become rather infamous for the use of incendiary signs which feature rather religious context in order to promote pro-life attitudes. And with the pro-life, pro-choice debate being such a heated battleground, you can pretty much guarantee that there's always going to be some sort of opposition that shows up at these LifeChain protests. And some of these oppositional protesters will be peaceful and some of them not so peaceful. So now that I've laid the groundwork for this protest on September 30th, enter Marie-Claire Bissonnette. Bissonnette was a youth coordinator for the Campaign Life Coalition, a Canadian political lobbyist organization which primarily advocates for social conservative values like pro-life. Bissonnette would be assuming the role of a protest organizer at this greater LifeChain protest, and she would take the streets with other pro-life activists with signs hoping to raise awareness for their pro-life agenda. LifeChain had put Bissonnette in charge of managing the pro-life protests at the corner of Bloor and Neil Street in Toronto's High Park Swansea neighborhood. She would be responsible for handing out informational pamphlets to passerbyers and also taking a head count of protesters that showed up in support of the LifeChain cause. By the time 2 p.m. had rolled around, a total of 76 protesters had arrived at her corner, all in support of the pro-life movement. And amongst the 76 protesters, there was only one counter-protester that was noted to be in the presence of the LifeChain protesters, and this was that woman right here. She was holding up a sign that said, "My body, my choice, my right." But despite the obvious ideological differences this pro-choice activist had amongst the pro-life activists, Bissonnette would later go on record and claim that this woman, never showed any ill will towards them. It was completely peaceful between the two camps. But this peace wouldn't last for much longer. All the peace would be shattered right around 2:30 p.m. when a man wearing a purple hoodie would approach the protesters. Marie-Claire Bissonnette claims that this man, who was in his late 20s wearing a purple hoodie, was observed using permanent markers defacing pro-life signs posted around the corner. And not only was this guy scribbling on pro-life signs that were posted on street signs, street posts, stuff like that, dude was going up to people holding signs and like ninja scribbling on their signs, scribbling out words from their pro-life signs. And if that wasn't bad enough, Bissonnette claims that the purple hooded man was running up behind protesters and scribbling on their backs, basically ruining their clothing. And one of these people that he scribbled on was allegedly a 10-year-old girl. Purple hoodie, bro. You gotta do better than that, man. That's just uncalled for. The purple hooded man would linger around the corner and continue to heckle the pro-life protesters, and it was at this point where Marie-Claire Bissonnette decides to pull out her phone and confront this troublemaker about his vandalism. And she pulls out her phone and begins to capture what I can only consider now to be a piece of internet history. Here's the clip.
Hey,
destruction of private property. It's against the law.
Somebody gets raped by somebody and they're like, I'm a 16-year-old and I can't have this baby. Think you should keep it?
It's a baby.
Yeah.
If someone was raped and she gave birth and she decided to kill her 3-year-old child.
I meant to get your phone.
Someone call the cops.
Meant to get your phone.
Do not touch me. Someone call the cops.
Jesus Christ. And if this whole situation wasn't sad enough already, I want to make it even sadder by pointing out at the beginning of this clip, notice this man who is filming the purple hooded guy right before the roundhouse kick takes place. But he puts his phone away just moments before the actual kick takes place. RIP to that guy, because you pretty much missed like one of the greatest clips of internet history possible. You could have got another angle of it for sure. So anyways, this kick was indeed pretty dramatic, and the roundhouse kicker had seemed to be working on his form. But Jesus Christ, this kick was telegraphed like 10 seconds before it happened. According to Marie-Claire Bissonnette, this kick didn't land on her arm like many had thought, and I myself thought the kick landed on her arm as well. The kick actually landed on her shoulder. So this dude had some serious range. Like, this dude had been practicing Muay Thai or something, because he's got some good range on his kick. Maybe it's because he was wearing yoga pants, I don't know. So 911 would be called and police would show up to the scene, but they really weren't much help in this scenario because Jordan Hunt had fled the scene. Really all they did was roll up to the scene, roll their window down, and were like, what do you want us to do? Fill out a complaint and submit it to the courthouse. I mean, we can't do anything. I mean, we'll certainly look for him. But at the time this was going down, police really weren't any help to Marie-Claire Bissonnette. So Bissonnette wasn't getting any help from local law enforcement, so you gotta do the next best thing. Upload the clip onto the internet and see what they have to think about it. Oh, and let me tell you, once the internet got a whiff of this clip, they weren't happy about it at all. Posted on a YouTube channel called LifeSite, this clip got 700,000 views in 48 hours and was promptly going viral on Twitter. And you can pretty much guarantee with the internet, people are going to be trying to find who this guy is, find his real identity, and expose him in front of the entire internet for all to see and make fun of. Not only that, but another goal of the internet was to get this guy locked up in jail because we're petty like that. And while there were some who were in this situation just for the memes, there were definitely a group of headhunters after this guy. And not long after this whole thing went viral in early October, there was a photo linked to a Facebook account called Jordan Hunt that was located, and hey, this Jordan Hunt guy looks pretty damn similar to our Roundhouse Kicked Activist. Yep, the internet found out who the Roundhouse Kicked Activist was, and this guy's legal name was Jordan Hunt. And with his legal name out in cyberspace now publicly available, there would be plenty of vigilantes on Twitter calling the Toronto Police Department, telling them, we know your guy, you gotta arrest Jordan Hunt, he's dangerous and needs to be apprehended immediately. And so the pressure was certainly on. I could only imagine that Jordan Hunt was in like hiding at this point. Or was he? Those who were looking to take him down discovered that he was a hairstylist that worked for a Toronto-based haircutting salon called Noble Studio 101. And after the internet found out about this, Noble Studio 101 would be getting countless phone calls telling them about Jordan Hunt's actions.
This is bullshit!
They would be receiving threats to their business. The owner, making a public statement about this, saying the harassment to their studio was pretty much crippling the business. They were just being caught in the crossfire of his actions. Check out this statement from the studio that they posted on Instagram about the whole situation. It has been brought to our attention that Jordan Hunt has been caught on camera assaulting an innocent bystander at a pro-life rally. We don't condone his actions and he has been let go. We believe that everyone has a right to an opinion and the right to voice their opinion without fear of physical violence. So it was clear that they weren't in support of Jordan Hunt, but the harassment definitely took a toll on the business owner, as you can see here from this interview.
And since then, our studio has been receiving hundreds of emails, texts, messages, some positive, a lot of negative, a lot of threats against our business, against us personally. It's affecting people booking. People are booking fake appointments. They're taking up valuable studio time of our stylists.
So all the meanwhile this is going on, since the events happened on September 30th, it's now October 5th and Jordan Hunt is still at large. But I would imagine all of the pressure that was coming down on him finally began to take a toll, and he understood the gravity of his actions. Because on October 6, 2018, Jordan Hunt would turn himself in to the Toronto Police Department. Jordan Hunt was being charged with 8 counts of assault and 7 counts of mischief.
You can't get physical. You can disagree with somebody's message.
If you go out into the world and harass people, then you get harassed back.
I
was
got
very
it. When
offensive
women
sign.
talk about
Tried to
women's
take that away
rights,
from you. Tried to take all your pamphlets away from you. Arguably, that is wrong. Yeah, I tried to knock your stupid billboard of the sign.
Okay.
So if you don't want me to fuck with your stuff, why are you deciding to fuck with other people's choices?
His $500 bail would be posted later on the day of his arrest, and he has yet to go to trial for his charges. But yeah, pretty much ever since then, Jordan Hunt has disappeared into the shadow realm and we haven't heard any updates on this case. What do you guys think about the purple hoodie roundhouse kicker, aka Cuck Norris, the man known as Jordan Hunt? I thought this was like one of the funniest things that we got out of 2018. I mean, this is just the ultimate social justice warrior smackdown here. But let me guys know what you think in the comment section. Hey, and make sure you guys check out my Instagram. I got the link in the description box. Check out my buddies over at Cool Shirts. They got some super dope winter wear that you gotta check out. Major shout out to my patrons. Wavy Web Surf out. Peace.